morning. This is Katie Friedman from Unitrends. I'd like to welcome you to our live session on the 7 ways to improve backup, recovery, and continuity. Before we begin our session today, I did want to give you a couple of housekeeping notes. As you may have already noticed, we do have all attendees in listen-only mode. With that in mind, we do welcome your questions throughout today's presentation. However, we do ask that you utilize the Q&A functionality from the WebEx toolkit, which you will find by selecting the icon or the question mark from the drop-down menu near the middle top of your screen if you have that view, or from the upper right-hand corner of your screen if you have that view. Please make sure to address all questions to all panelists so that we can answer your questions as quickly as possible. With those details taken care of, I did want to go ahead and introduce our presenter for today. Today we have Dave O'Keefe, who is the VP of Product Marketing here at Unitrends. Dave?
Thank you, Katie, and welcome to everybody who's listening in today to today's webinar on 7 ways to improve backup, recovery, and continuity. This is really a continuation of some of the discussion we started a few months ago when we introduced our new rules of recovery campaign. So I wanted to basically take that topic and go a little bit deeper today and actually try and translate this into some actual steps that you can take to hopefully improve your backup, recovery, and continuity, and maybe make your lives a little bit easier. So the industry feedback on this topic is clear. Backup and recovery needs to improve for most users. ESG, an analyst firm, did a set of research last year, and they asked what were the 10 most important IT priorities over the next 12 months, and improving backup and recovery came in at number 2. And business continuity and disaster recovery programs actually came in the top 10 as well. And if you look at other things on those on that list, including managing data growth and using cloud infrastructure, there's a lot of things in there that really impact backup, recovery, and continuity, either by introducing new complexities or just additional things you need to be considering. Just a week or two ago, Gartner released their latest Magic Quadrant for backup. And in that report, they actually specified, this is a direct quote from there, they said, organizations that are also voicing opinion that backup needs to improve a lot, not just a little. The ongoing frustration with backup implies that data protection approaches of the past may no longer be sufficient in meeting current, much less future recovery requirements. And I think part of the reason why many people are voicing that frustration is because they've really kind of been doing backup and recovery in a similar manner than they have for a long time. And there really have been a lot of advances in the technology and in the approaches that can be taken to kind of make this a little bit easier. And that's partially what our new rules were about. We kind of recognize that IT does have a lot on its plate, whether it's a digital transformation, which is really affecting almost every business out there, whether it's new threats like ransomware that you're having to deal with as an additional source of potential data loss, whether it's some of the mega storms that we're seeing hit places like Texas and South Carolina, and the fires that are hitting in California, kind of on an increasing basis. Disaster recovery is kind of rising in concerns. So a lot of people are trying to figure out how to improve what they're doing, both for backup and DR. In addition, of course, we're all dealing with this kind of exponential data growth. We asked in a survey a couple months ago of 900 IT folks what their data backup and recovery challenges they were facing were. And this was the list of the most common answers we got. DR was certainly topping the list, both for people who are using cloud and not using cloud. Interesting that those that are not using cloud actually kind of put it at a higher priority. But disaster recovery, excessive data growth, multiple point solutions, basically being able to know that you're recoverable are all things that are top of mind on many IT professionals' heads these days. So that's why we think there needs to be a new approach. a lot has changed in our digital worlds, particularly in the past couple of years, with new architectures, software-defined data center, new things like containers coming kind of to bear. There's so much changing in our space. But for many enterprises, they're still doing backup and recovery largely the same as what they've been doing for a decade or longer. Many companies are still relying on kind of putting backups on tape, manually shipping those things off to a storage facility somewhere, and then when they need to rely on them, wondering why that process doesn't work and their data often is not recoverable. So there must be a better way than this. We have to move from this world where backup and recovery is largely a functional, task-based thing that, to be honest, nobody's really excited about doing. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, yeah, I get to go in and go do my backups. It kind of has low interest in engagement. The business kind of considers, well, that's something that the IT admin's going to do and take care of. It's really almost kind of considered a legacy IT function. We really want to be able to transition that more to something that the business views as a critical function of how do we actually keep continuity of the business, and actually turn that into a business benefit by reducing the amount of downtime that we have, by reducing the inefficiencies that can occur when you have data loss, and really make it be a solution focus. We can transition backup and continuity into a more strategic initiative for the business and have it shift so that's not just that thing that the IT admin needs to worry about. It's something the whole business should be worried about. So with that, we launched our 7 rules of recovery a little while back. And we were just trying to raise awareness for there is a better way. You should not have to settle for kind of what you've been doing for so long and wonder when is backup and recovery going to get better. You should be able to reduce downtime. Backup should be very easy. Testing should happen automatically while you're actually over focusing on more critical projects. It should be able to survive ransomware. It should help you on your journey to the cloud, et cetera, et cetera. We put these together kind of as a thought-provoking piece. And with today's webinar, what I wanted to do is kind of dive a little bit deeper. Those 7 rules sound great. You know, they were designed to kind of evoke some kind of memorable responses. But what we really want is now to kind of show what steps you can actually take to make backup and recovery a little bit easier. And that's really what I'm going to go through over the next few minutes. So the first thing that you should be doing is consolidating solutions into one platform. Backup for many companies has turned into deploying multiple point solutions to solve the problem. Many companies have a solution for their physical backups, for physical Windows, maybe another legacy solution that's protecting older Unix systems that are still deployed. They have another system doing virtualization. They might have a different solution for cloud, another solution for basically doing SaaS applications. It's actually increased the amount of complexity and reduced the efficiency of the organization. By consolidating these into one single platform, we can actually gain back a lot of efficiency. And we can gain back a lot of benefits to the organization. By having one tool that spans our entire environment, there's obviously less licenses we have to purchase and maintenance agreements that we need to keep up. There's less training that we have to do. The people who are working on different systems, your admin who's responsible for that massive database or your physical environment is able to actually backfill for the virtualization admin to do if you need to actually recover something in a pinch, and vice versa. So there's numerous benefits by kind of consolidating into a single platform. So that's certainly the first thing you can do. The next thing, and this may be the most important thing when it comes to kind of getting onto a modern protection platform, is to automate, automate, automate. We can automate not only backups, but we can automate moving those backups off-site, the backup copies into the cloud or to some other location. we can automate all that. So instead of having to use tapes and manually switch rotational media around and put them into shipping boxes and sending them off, we can automate all that so that it just happens automatically on schedule. The tool basically does it all itself. But we can also automate the reporting of what's happening in those environments. And probably just as importantly, automate the testing of those environments. Because if you automate backups and you automate moving those backups off-site, and you're not actually having a way that you can check to make sure that everything is working properly, you're potentially exposing yourself to a surprise later on when you actually need to rely on that backups. But the good news is we can automate the testing of our backups and automate the testing of our DR environments so that automated reports are delivered to us on a regular basis that prove without a shadow of doubt that we can recover. So all this technology is available today, and it's something that I find far too many companies are not taking advantage of the benefits that modern backup solutions have to basically make life easier, to give you back time to go focus on a more important project, to actually give you time to be able to kind of get away and not have to worry, you know, am I protected? Is my environment going to work properly? The third thing in our list is to take advantage of cloud benefits. It's been fascinating. I've been working in the cloud space now for a number of years, and it's been fascinating to watch the profound impact cloud has had on so many industries in really changing how we build applications, how we manage them, how we deploy them, how we expand them, how we shut them down. And backup and disaster recovery are perfectly suited for taking advantage of the flexibility and elasticity that we can get with cloud. So this is probably one of the strongest recommendations that we actually have, is take advantage of that. Use the fact that your data is growing very fast, not as a detriment to worry about. Use the fact that you have cloud capabilities that can be built into your backup and disaster recovery tools to alleviate the fact. You can actually use the elasticities to expand as you need it. You don't have to keep buying as much on-premise storage just to back up local workloads. You can use the kind of cloud economics and the advantages that come with that to your advantage. Our next item is about testing for recovery assurance. And recovery assurance is the type of technology that we talk about that can automate the testing of your backups and DR environments to certify that they're going to work as expected. So with recovery assurance, you can essentially define what your RPO and RTO targets are on a per application basis, and actually have the automated tool go out and test your environment as often as needed. If you need it once a month, once a week, once a day, you can set up the technology to basically test as required, and it will validate that your RTO and RPO objectives are being met in actuality. So we'll actually spin up workloads in your DR environment using the backups that are stored there. We'll test even complex end-tier applications that all the interfaces are working properly and the application's working exactly as you'd expect it to work. And then we certify that that's an approved certified recovery point, so that if you need to rely and get something back up and running, you know absolutely without a doubt that that set of backups and that configuration is going to work exactly as you'd expect. Nothing has drifted out of compliance. Nothing has changed in external interfaces that you might be dependent on. It all works exactly as you'd expect. This is something that far too few enterprises are taking advantage of, and it really can do a lot to give you confidence back in your IT environment and your ability to recover in the face of a downtime event or a disaster. Our next item is really to get flexible. Your environment is going to change. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but over the next 6 months, 12 months, year or two, it's going to change. Whether you are one of the companies that actually has a digital transformation project going on, and according to IDC, 66% of CEOs say digital transformation is at the heart of their corporate strategy. Or you have, you're among one of those vendors that, one of those enterprises that actually has a large cloud deployment going on. That ESG report said about 25% of companies are saying using cloud infrastructure services more is their most important strategic project. Regardless of what's happening, it's very likely that what you have today in your infrastructure is not going to be what you have in the future. You want to make sure that your backup and recovery solution is flexible and can adapt as you make changes. So you don't want to choose a vendor that's going to lock you into a particular architecture or a particular solution. By getting flexibility, we can start things on a path. You can start using cloud-based backup today, perhaps using a purpose-built solution like what we offer with Unitrends Cloud. But if you know that you're going to be moving to an Amazon or Microsoft Cloud environment down the road, you want to make sure that your solution is flexible enough to be able to move with you. Some vendors will give you limited choice. They'll tell you, yeah, we have a cloud solution, but it's only our cloud solution, or it's only with this set of partners. You want to basically make sure that your solution is as flexible as possible to be able to adapt to whatever changes are coming to you in your cloud deployment, in your on-premise deployment. You know, make sure that you're able to, if you're considering moving to containers, that you're kind of considering that the platform's going to be able to keep up with that change as well. All those things really need to be in place. The more flexible the platform is, the more able it's going to be able to adapt, and it's going to be able to move with you. It's not going to restrict you and force you into a particular architecture just to stay and make sure you don't lose your backups. Next is to look for a solution that minimizes steps via intuitive user experience. And we have a really good white paper on this called Beautying the Backup that I encourage you to read that actually outlines why having an intuitive user experience is so important to basically make backup better. First, obviously, the fewer steps, the easier the solution is to do kind of routine tasks, the better. Of course, you want to be able to kind of as easily as possible set up new backup jobs, set up new jobs to send cloud backups off-site. But that's really just the beginning. That's partially about making sure you have a solution that will be able to you'll be able to use repeatedly without having to reference a manual. But one of the other really important things of having an intuitive user interface is, by its nature, backup and disaster recovery tools are going to be used in times of stress. Losing data, having to react to a disaster is inherently stressful. And research has shown that error rates go up. It's just human nature. Error rates go up when operators are operating under stress. So something that is a routine task that may only have an error rate of 1% may jump up to a 15% error rate when that operation has to be done under stress. So by having a tool that's very intuitive, it walks you through kind of the steps to do a particular task, you can greatly reduce the error rate, particularly during that time of stress. And you really want to be able to have a solution that's able to do that. The last thing you want is to compound a disaster or a downtime event by making another mistake or thinking that you were taking the right steps and finding out that you did something that kind of compounded it. So this isn't just about kind of making things easier on a day-to-day basis. This is really about making sure your solution is going to work properly when it matters most. And last, this kind of ties back into the first one as well about kind of having a single solution, but you want to be able to protect everything you have. And everything you have is probably changing and getting more complex as time goes on. We want to have a solution that's able to protect physical workloads, Windows, Linux, even old Unix-based operating systems, as well as virtualized platforms. And for many companies, having multiple hypervisors deployed is becoming more and more common. So it's not just protecting VMware and Microsoft Hyper-V, but being able to protect KVM, being able to protect an OpenStack environment, being able to protect cloud environments, being able to protect SaaS applications. All this is becoming important as we go forward. So you want to have a solution that's able to kind of do all of that. So that was the last of my 7 steps. So how does Unitrends kind of fit into that? Unitrends is trying to redefine recovery to continuity for the business. When we think of our mission statement, we're trying to be here for the IT leaders and professionals, change makers and visionaries who understand that in today's digital world, protecting their ideas and keeping their business running, no matter what life throws at them, is non-negotiable. That's essentially the mission statement that we have as a company, is make sure your business stays up and running, that you're able to continue to execute no matter what. And we've taken that very seriously. And we're trying to reimagine recovery for this new digital world. We have a lot of different protection products, backup appliances, cloud-based solutions, recovery assurance technology. We've tied all that into a single platform, which we call the Connected Continuity Platform, that brings together all these leading cloud-empowered continuity solutions into a single super intuitive platform that gives you unmatched flexibility as your business needs evolve. So it's there not only for what you need today, but it's designed to be there as your business evolves as well. We're trying to deliver a platform that allows you to capitalize on the potential of cloud, as well as reduce your overall spend on IT. We want to basically make continuity protection a strategic initiative. If you actually think about how you're going to protect all of your data in advance, you can reduce the amount of storage that you need to apply to it. We see vendors buying redundancy in places where they might not necessarily need redundant storage, simply because they have not thought through kind of the end-to-end protection strategy that includes not only on-premise, but cloud-based solutions as well. And all this is trying to deliver a platform that's able to give confidence back to IT. We want to make sure that we're alleviating those concerns about, is my data recoverable? Am I able to keep my business running when a disaster comes at some point in the future? So this is essentially how we view our platform. It extends from continuity planning tools that are designed to help you build your plan. It includes our backup appliances, whether it's a physical appliance like Recovery Series, or a software appliance, or even software that installs into a Linux environment. But those backup and continuity appliances are a key cornerstone to that. But we've also added into it the industry's broadest portfolio of cloud solutions as well. So whether you're looking for a solution entirely from Unitrends, or whether you have chosen Amazon or Microsoft or Google as your kind of strategic cloud vendor, we're able to support you with a broad range of solutions for continuity and offsite backup storage, DRAS, and more offsite. All this is basically tied together with our recovery assurance technology that allows you to basically validate that your environment's working exactly as you'd expect it, and supported by an awesome service and support team that's here for you kind of when things matter most. So when we talk about the platform, we're really talking about 4 major things that we want to deliver for you. We want to be able to protect everything you have. We want to be able to deliver continuity wherever you need it, on-premise, in the cloud, at a second site, wherever. We want to be able to guarantee recovery and continuity, and we want to do it all from within a single intuitive platform. So diving a little bit deeper into each of those 4 points, when we say protect everything you have, we really do mean everything you have. We support over 220 different operating systems, hypervisors, applications, whether it's legacy physical Unix operating systems or the Macintosh, Windows, Linux, whether it's a virtualized environment, Hyper-V, KVM, Citrix. We even support KVM and other hypervisors as well. Applications, we have native support for your mission-critical applications, including Exchange, Oracle, SharePoint, SQL Server, and we will be adding additional support for being able to do backups for SaaS-based applications such as Office 365 and Microsoft OneDrive here shortly, later in the summer. We've also partnered with all the leading cloud vendors and have integrations with Amazon, Google, Microsoft Azure, Rackspace, et cetera. So we really want to be able to protect everything that you have. We want to be able to deliver your continuity however you need it. Some customers are going to choose an all-in-one solution from Unitrends. For that, we offer our solution to be paired with our own cloud. Other vendors are going to want to go with a managed service provider or a hyperscale cloud like Amazon, or may even want to basically set up their own private cloud with a secondary site that is completely within their firewall. Regardless, all of our solutions are designed to work hand in hand. So you can start with local on-premise protection using either a physical appliance with Recovery Series or a virtual appliance with our Unitrends Enterprise Backup, and use all those different models, whether it's Unitrends Cloud, our hyperscale solutions, our managed service provider solutions, or just deploying a secondary appliance in a secondary site. We also have another solution called Boomerang, which is designed to actually deliver disaster recovery as well as cloud migration to various hyperscale clouds as well. So we really are trying to provide as broad a solution as possible, so it's really your choice as to which cloud you want to deploy. We also want to be able to deliver guaranteed recovery via our recovery assurance. Like I said, recovery assurance allows you to have absolute certainty in your ability to recover. We can deploy our recovery assurance technology either into your local environment, into your own DR site, or we can run it out of the Unitrends cloud. And it fully automates application-aware testing of your environment so that you know without a doubt that you're 100% recoverable. And we do this using the new user interface that we launched within the past year. Incredibly easy to use, very intuitive. This is a dashboard view that I'm showing here right now that kind of gives you a quick snapshot of what's kind of going on into your environment. You can quickly set up new jobs, whether it's to set up a new protection job or a new recovery job. Any of the reports or dashboard things that you want to be able to dive in and get more information, you can double click into any of those and see exactly what's going on. If a particular error occurred or a particular summary you need to get some more information on it. It's all tied in, supported by not only us, but you can actually even have a dashboard module that ties you actually into the Unitrends community to actually get help from the community on how to do common backup tasks. We also deliver some very intuitive reports as well. The second thing that I just popped up is actually a sample of our recovery assurance report that could be delivered on a regular basis to the IT admin's inbox that actually proves that Each of these applications is meeting their RPO and RTO actual goals, and this environment is going to be able to be fully recoverable. So all this has been put into a single intuitive platform. As I said, we're now calling that the Connected Continuity Platform. So our recovery series appliances, our UEB software, our Forever Cloud, our DRaaS, all that is included as part of this one end-to-end platform that is really designed to make sure that your business stays up and running no matter what. So we'd love to actually have a deeper conversation with you about this. I encourage you, if you're interested in hearing more, reach out to us. Our backup and recovery and continuity experts would love to have a more detailed conversation. If you're kind of ready to not have to worry about recovery again, if you can imagine not having to spend time on backup and kind of being able to spend time focusing on more strategic projects, I encourage you to kind of give us a call. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up the presentation portion of this. I think we're going to take some questions and answers. I'll leave up on the screen just a few things that if you want to take next steps, you can go download a trial of our UEB software, or if you're interested in diving a little bit more into the 7 new rules I talked about as well, we have an ebook that's available on that as well. Katie, I think we're going to do Q&A now.
All right, folks, we actually have quite a few questions already in the queue. If you're trying to figure out how to ask us a question, please look for the icon with the question mark from the drop-down menu near the middle top of your screen or from the upper right-hand corner of your screen, depending on which view you have, and make sure to address all questions to all panelists. Our first question today is, how does this work with AWS?
How does this work with AWS? There's a few different ways we work with AWS. So our recovery series and UEB appliances have a free kind of ability to actually move backup copies to AWS S3 today. So that's actually built into all of our products by default. We also have our Boomerang tool, which is designed to actually move VMware workloads from your on-premise environment into an Amazon AWS environment for DRaaS. The interesting thing about Boomerang is it's not just simply a replication technology that moves your data from your on-premise into Amazon. It also does all of your machine transformation. So we move your data, but we also get your VM set up as a native a native AMI image, so that if you need to spin up a workload in Amazon for disaster recovery, you can do it very quickly. Your data's there, the AMIs of the image with all the configuration details on the network settings and everything else you need to basically get that workload up and running in Amazon. So it's all pre-set up by default, so with a single push of a button, you can actually spin up those workloads in just a few minutes. The other thing that we're going to be announcing here shortly is we're actually going to be having the ability to actually run our software in an AWS environment as well, both as a backup target as well as the ability to actually protect AWS workloads within AWS. So all that is going to be rolling out here in the summer. The Boomerang and the Cloud Hook stuff is available today, and the native protection in AWS is rolling out later this summer.
All right. Next question is, what is the biggest pain point you're finding from clients eager to move to your solution?
I think the biggest pain point just in general happening in the industry is just the explosion in data that's happening. So many customers are trying to figure out how do they keep up with the amount of data, not just what they have today, but what are they going to have a year or two from now. So as I said, having a solution that is very flexible and actually is able to both kind kind of keep up with changes, but also be able to kind of scale up and scale out as well is very important. And that's something that our solutions are designed to do very well. You can either bring in additional appliances, but as your data grows, or kind of add additional storage if it's a software solution. But even if you bring in additional appliances, from our point of view, from our user interface, we can manage them all together. So we're able to actually, many of our customers over time have multiple appliances that get deployed. But because they're being managed from a single user interface, it makes their lives a little bit easier. But I think that amount of data growth that we're just seeing as an industry, it's kind of becoming old hat to say, you know, boy, explosive data growth is happening. I think everybody knows it. But it is probably one of the major pain points we see people struggling with. We also kind of view cloud as a solution for kind of keeping up with that data growth as well. So it's one of the main reasons why we're very pleased with the number of cloud solutions that we actually can offer people, because it gives them multiple options for how do they keep up with that data growth.
Our next question is, how quickly can we have a client back up in your disaster recovery as a service solution?
So our DRAS environment actually has a 1-hour SLA guaranteed for your entire environment. So that's how things, we actually do the testing. We work with the customer in advance. Our services team has what we call our white glove service. They will work with you to basically test your environment, make sure that anything that is, any intricacies, if you have certain workloads that need to boot in a certain order before another workload, we will work through all that with you, get the environment set up, and then be there when you declare a disaster. We're there to basically make sure that you're up and running in an hour or less for the entire environment. As far as we know, we're the only vendor in the industry that actually has a guaranteed, not a best effort SLA, but we have a guaranteed SLA for our DRAS.
All right, and then this looks like it may be our final question, unless somebody's holding on to one out there. Do you have to have a physical appliance or Unitrends enterprise backup locally in your environment to use your DRAS service?
To use our DRAS service, so I'm going to give 2 answers to this. I'm going to give kind of a yes and no answer. If you want to use the DRAS offer in the Unitrends cloud, the way that works is, yes, you have a Unitrends appliance on-premise that's basically keeping a set of backups for kind of locally. We then send backup copies to the Unitrends cloud. And once your data is actually in the Unitrends cloud, you can then use our DRAS offer to use that data to spin up those critical workloads. So the answer for the Unitrends cloud is yes, it requires our appliances as well as our Unitrends Forever Cloud or No Limits Cloud for cloud storage. However, for those customers that have a VMware environment that want to do DRAS in AWS, and actually our beta is starting up today for doing this with Microsoft Azure. If you want to actually do DRAS or DR in a AWS or Azure environment, you can use Boomerang, and that does not require a Unitrends Recovery Series or UEB deployment. Boomerang does install as a virtual appliance itself in your environment, but it's a very small, kind of quick install. And from that point on, you can do DR of your VMware workloads into one of those hyperscale clouds.
All right, and it looks like we did get one more question. It does does it support backing up physical servers running Solaris 11? And Dave, I figured you probably wouldn't know the answer to this one off the top of your head. So I went and looked at the compatibility matrix, and yes, it does. For those of you who are looking for a full list of the operating systems that you can protect with Unitrends, if you just go to our website and hit the search button in the upper right-hand corner and just type in the word matrix, the first thing that will come up will be our interoperability and compatibility matrix. I'm also going to put a link to it in the Q&A area. But you can search through that to find out which of the hundreds of operating systems that we protect you may be questioning, if you know how we protected those kinds of things. So very easy to find answers to those, and hopefully that answered your question. All right, well, I think that was our final question of the day. We do look forward to following up with each and every one of you here over the next few days, and hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.